New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am Robyn Rice Olmsted.
And I am Dr. Natasha Wilson. And we are... Robyn, say it. We are...
I already said it. You say it.
We are Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Make sure that you join us for our conversation live. You can join us on Facebook. You can join us, I'm not sure Instagram, but I know you can join on YouTube, and you can also join on the New Thought Media Network. So what's going on, Robyn? How you feeling this week?
It's a good week. I'm a little overwhelmed, but everything is good. Just busy. And, you know, I listen to people answer the question, how are you? And then somebody was like, oh, I'm very busy by design. And I thought, it's all by design, right?
Mm.
You know, and I thought, okay, so am I really by designing my life in the way that I think I would? So I don't know. I feel like I'm doing so much that it's really just hard to even imagine. You know, I keep thinking I'm checking things off my list, and every time I do, 3 more things come to replace it.
Yeah.
I want to welcome Wayne out there from Calgary. Good to see you, Wayne. Glad you could get on over and visit with us. Yeah, I don't think you've been here yet, Wayne. We've missed you. I've missed you because I know what a presence you are. So it's good to have you here. Wayne, meet Natasha.
Hi, Wayne. I'm glad to meet you.
How about you? How's your week?
Yeah, my week has been full, but it's been really good. I feel like a lot of things are sort of coming full circle in my life right now, but yeah, it's been good. It's been good. My life is good overall. You know, I feel like yeah, that's where I am right
I mean,
now.
at the end of the day, as far as I know, it beats the alternative right now.
I know.
You may as well live. Here's to life. L'chaim.
Cheers. Oh, I have to drink, because if you don't have a sip, then it's bad luck, I was told.
Like, I put this lemon on my drink. It is a gigantic lemon. It is missing that like an inch of the peel. It's huge. Can you see it?
What is the drink, Robyn?
Iced tea.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Iced tea. Cool, refreshing iced tea for this Southern California girl today.
Nice.
So, all right. So for those of you who haven't been here, what we like to do is, since we are girls behaving metaphysically, and the reason we say that is because what isn't metaphysical? But I don't know, if you're on a spiritual journey, so much of the time people go, that's not really very metaphysical, or that's not very spiritual. And what's not spiritual? So we contemplate that here. And we go into our woo-woo-ness and allow the cards to guide us.
Yes. So I'm going to pull a card. I've already shuffled. And so let's just see what we will be contemplating today. Ooh, look at that.
Nice.
Celebrate growth and breakthroughs.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it.
She looks like a showgirl, though.
She does. She also looks like a samba dancer. And only because, and I'm thinking samba because I literally this week have been looking up because I want to take samba lessons. So I've been saying I want to take samba lessons because I dance samba, but I don't dance samba. I know they're related. But you know, anyways, this is cool. This is confirmation. I need to go dance samba.
There you go.
There you go. But what does it bring up for you? Celebrate growth and breakthroughs. I just love this card. Oh my goodness.
I want to break out into song though. I feel like
I know. I just
her name is Lola. She was a showgirl. Well, so what is it for celebrate breakthroughs? Oh. Yeah, I think that's a really good motto. Because I'm thinking about in my head, generally breakthroughs come after breakdowns, you know, or sometimes it's some kind of breakdown. Even if it's just a mini breakdown where your system doesn't work anymore, whether it's a meltdown or how big it gets. And yeah, you said, because I think that celebration is really coming back into your oneness and your recognition of the divine, right?
Can you say that again, please?
Probably not. I generally don't know what I've said.
What?
I don't. It's really bad. That's why I'm not a lawyer. That's why.
You sure that's iced tea?
Yeah, that's why I'm an actor and I have prepared lines. Those are the ones I remember. I think that what I said was that our producer probably knows what I say. Oh, great. That's why he makes the big bucks, folks. Okay, so what I said was, I think generally to get to a breakthrough, there's been some kind of breakdown, and not that it has to be a big breakdown. It could be a little breakdown, or just a realization that your system isn't working, or you don't want to do it that way anymore, or you know, something like that. And then there's a breakthrough. Then there's a breakthrough where you move into a different position, you move into a different space. And so it's really, in my opinion, it's really the space of coming back into alignment with the one, which is cause to celebrate.
Is that you?
Yeah, I turned my phone off, so they're calling on WhatsApp.
Oh my goodness.
I can't talk to you right now. I guess I could have answered. We could have gone live on the show. Yeah, so that's what it is. I mean, for me, I mean, so I think that, yeah, there's cause for celebration. I mean, I think there's cause for celebration every day when you remember who you are, right? Because we're celebrating the divine.
Yeah, we are.
The divine.
We are. You know, if I'm fully honest, I'm sort of going through, I feel like a really big transition right now. And I feel like I'm going through these constant cycles, a little bit of forgetting and remembering who I am, like in both the big way, in terms of I'm a unique emanation of the one, and in the little ways, in terms of just my human journey. And so when I go through those cycles, which I think you may have been referring to them. For me, I experienced them as what you spoke about as breakdowns. When I do sort of circle back to remembering, because we are forgetful beings. I say this all the time. I don't know what it is about our species. We are forgetful beings. But it's true. It's like once I cycle back around, there usually is a really big breakthrough. And sometimes it's really subtle and yet it's big. So I don't know. To me, this is just confirmation. And I love samba. I love the story of samba. A lot of people don't know the story of like this dance. I mean, this is a dance that was created by people who were oppressed, and systems were trying to like take their humanity away, and yet they found ways to like celebrate their humanity. You know, it's just amazing. So,
and so much of dance is like that, right? I mean, it's coming out of the darkness into the light. It's such a celebration of being. Yeah.
I taught at my daughter's school. I'm teaching there in the afternoons, just restorative dance, cultural dance, using dance as a form of mindfulness with kids that in the US, we say, I think we still say in the US, special education, but here in Australia and in other places that are part of the inclusion. And so I'm working with inclusion kids. And so yesterday was my first day teaching these kids dance. And there was this little boy.
I saw your Facebook post.
He was so keen. When I tell you, I was doing an exercise, mentor kind of taught me. My mentor is Sarah. And she had taught me this exercise, this Wi-Fi exercise that I do in workshops. I've done in workshops with her. And when I tell you, this kid, it's like he had been waiting his whole life to dance. He ended up being like my little assistant the whole time. Like, he was amazing. And I was like, he was like, when are you coming back, Miss Natasha? I was like, I'll be here on Thursday. But you can't come because you're not in grade 3 and 4. But I hope they make an exception because he was amazing. He really stole my heart. Yeah.
Well, that, I mean, and what a great representation of celebrating, right? Because kids are so great at celebrating the moment, you know, and for you to feel that, for it to have come through him, like, you know, this was his to do. It's like, that's such a great affirmation.
Oh my goodness. That really, really, really put a spark in my heart yesterday.
Cool.
I thought my daughters would be like my assistants. They, you know, they were tapped out. So anyways, it was fun.
They weren't quite as excited.
Are you going to take me home early today? That's all they wanted to know.
That's funny. So I just want to, Wayne asked, how can oneness faith spread like a virus?
What? Okay.
How can it spread?
You asking me?
Yeah,
that's a really big question.
It is.
How can oneness faith spread like a virus?
Do you need time to think about it? Do you want to go to a break and come back?
Maybe, because there are a couple things that aren't sort of connecting in my brain. Look, I'm neurodivergent. If you haven't noticed it by now. So there's some concepts, they don't all the time fit in my head correctly. So I have to really like sit with it. So, which is why I'm a girl behaving metaphysically. So,
and I would say that it's not so much the technical question as much as the feeling you get from the question. Like, how can oneness and faith spread like a virus? How can we be in that motion? And how can we be infectious with on fire for God or spirit or the universe, whatever. Oh
my God, if someone could peep inside my brain right now, they would really have a good time. You should see. It's like my synapses are like on fire. God, go to break.
All right. Well, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to take her synapses and we're going to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about it's really what the card was, how do we celebrate
growth and breakthroughs?
growth and breakthroughs. But how do we celebrate that and take it out into the world and spread it like a virus? A virus is a little touchy to say in this day and age, but let's just say, how do we spread it like peanut butter? I don't know. Okay, not peanut butter. Okay, well, I didn't want to say wildfire either. Everything I say could be meant to be other, but how do we pass it on?
Okay.
In a swift and efficient manner.
Yeah.
And if you followed that, and if you want to know the answer, come back here and dissect that with us. Think about it. Put your answer in the chat. Give us some clues as to, how do we celebrate breakthroughs and how do we move our faith out into the world? And we'll be right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello and welcome back, or if you're joining us right now, I am Robyn Rice Olmsted.
And I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson.
And we are Girls Behaving Metaphysically. And if you don't know, we're two girls on two different sides of the world. Natasha is in Queensland, Australia, and I am in Southern California. So we are hours and a day apart. And yet here we are by the magic of technology together with all of you from all different places. And it's so good to be here. So if you're joining us from somewhere else, well, if you're joining us from anywhere, put it in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. And as we ponder the questions of how do we celebrate our breakthroughs? Was that
and
it?
Growth. Our growth and breakthroughs.
Our growth and breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And how do we spread faith and oneness? How do we spread faith and oneness?
And before we do that, can I just say hi to my auntie Zena? Hey, TD, all the way from New Orleans. I just wanted to say hello to her.
See, you're from everywhere out there. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yes.
So let us know where you're out there from. All right. So yeah, where do we begin? I really think one has to do a lot with the other. I think if we're celebrating our breakthroughs, then I think what our actions is what moves our faith forward. You know, I mean, when we say, how do we make it spread like wildfire? Well, it may not look like that to us, but if each of us are doing our work and celebrating our breakthroughs and refocusing on who we are and whose we are, or however you look at that particular piece of information, you know, it doesn't matter what your religion or what your beliefs are, you know, oneness with your God, oneness, you know, whatever your belief is. I think that the deeper you dive into that and you discover your own divinity, then we're moving it forward.
I kind of wanted to go back just a little bit in the question itself. So it's like, how do we know we've had a breakthrough? Like, how do we know? Is it a feeling? Is it just a knowing? Is the evidence based on, you know, because we're doing things differently? Like, how do people know they've had a breakthrough? And then I feel like then there's a separate piece about the celebration. Because I know there's often a lot of pressure sometimes to be humble about these kinds of things. And so I'm just wondering how people, one, define their breakthroughs or know they have a breakthrough. And then how do people give themselves permission to celebrate it? Does that make sense, the question?
It does. It makes sense. The question, how do people give themselves permission to celebrate? But what I heard you start to ask, I think, was how do we know?
That was the first part. Even
when to celebrate, right? I think that's a great question. Because so many of the time we think I should have known this, or I should have done this, or it's something, you know, it's something that we've held on to or beaten ourselves up about, or, you know, somebody told us we weren't doing it right. So I think that's a great question. Maybe Auntie Zena has a thought.
I'm sure. You know, Auntie Zena makes the best Clarine candy, which is a local type of confection in New Orleans. And she is probably making it right now. She owns a business.
Wow.
Doing that. So she probably was just passing through, saw her niece and was like, oh, okay.
Wow. A little plug for Auntie Zena. Is there somewhere where people who want that can go buy it?
I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, they can. I think she does. I think she has a website. Auntie Zena, if you're still on, send a little thing. Let me know how people can get your Clarine candy. That's how we say it in New Orleans. Clarine, Black New Orleans anyways, but a lot of people say pralines in other places.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Like at Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
Praline and cream.
Praline. Yeah, but we call it Clarine, or we call it pecan candy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so there you go. Auntie Zena, let us know.
Yeah, put in the chat, Auntie Zena. So, okay, so back to the question. So do you have an answer for that? How do you know? How do you know when to celebrate?
I don't know. I guess I'm going to go first. So I know I've had a breakthrough when I do a thing different. So like if I've been doing a thing, maybe being reactionary to something, but then something similar happens, and then I react to it or respond to it rather in a different way, in a way that is more reflective of my like my values of being a beneficial presence on the planet. So when I respond differently, then I know I've had a breakthrough. That's not a big one. That's a subtle type for some, but for me, those are the bigger breakthroughs for me. And I don't, I do struggle with the celebrating those pieces, like when those things happen. I don't even know who do I, I'm like, I don't know, Robyn, I might call you and be like, Robyn, I am now saying wonderful things in my own head on a regular basis. I'm conditioning, my brain has been conditioned, but I'm not even sure. I guess it's an internal celebration. Perhaps I do.
Right.
Right. What about you?
I think that what I was thinking when you were saying that is that I think we've been conditioned to not celebrate them.
No, I think you're right.
Or not celebrate the small ones. And I think that we've, depending upon what topic we're on or what the situation is, I think that we really have, we've taken on this should mentality, oh, I should have done that already. Oh, I should be in a different place by now. Oh, I really, and so we hold ourselves in that space. And when we do something that moves us forward, it doesn't always look as big as we want it to look. So we don't celebrate it. You know what I mean?
I do.
And so it is kind of it's tricky, right? I mean, because it's kind of a trap, that we get stuck in. And I think that's why I love, I've always loved like people that really celebrate the moments, like that, I don't know, like I've been around people that are like just in those moments, they're like, okay, let's celebrate. Like I have a friend, Mallory. This reminds me when I was little. We came home from school one day and I went over to her house. And so, how you go over to your friend's house and I don't know, you'd have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or, their mother would hand you cookies and something. And she was like, okay, what do you want to have? Chips and dip? And I was like, what do you mean? Chips and dip are for a party, And we still have that joke 100 years later because it was like, she's like, no, I have it for a snack. It's like, wait, but they're for, you know what I mean? They're for this specific thing. And like, so now we laugh and we use it just when we want to celebrate anything. We're like, chips and dip, it's like code word because, but I mean, we get so conditioned to thinking we have to do one thing to get the next thing, or it's really not big enough to celebrate in that way. But when I do it this way, then we're going on a cruise or we're doing this or, you know what I mean? Some big thing. So, I mean, it's interesting the standards we hold ourselves to.
Yeah. It's also interesting, depending on where you are in your life, I think sometimes we feel more permission to be, I know for myself, and I should just use I statements, for myself, depending on where I am in terms of my consciousness, my practice, my spiritual practice, there are times when it is so easy for me to celebrate myself because I know celebrating myself is how I shine my light. And so it's easier, when I am engaged in a regular mindfulness practice of some sort. Like that might be one of the days someone might see me actually in the grocery store, like dressed in a cocktail dress. Like that's not unusual because that's how I feel. I feel happy. I feel like I want to
sparkle,
shine. I want to sparkle. So I don't know. I find it depends. And I think there is this thing about the word should that we continue. I remember Louise Hay used to talk about it all the time, how it's such a hostile word it's hostile to our psyche. It's a word that denies choice. And anything that denies choice, the psyche don't like, So I think there is this place to continue to sort of remove certain words from our pattern of thinking, like should.
Yeah. Should is a tricky one. And I was also thinking about when you said about showing up in the market in a sparkly dress, it's like, I mean, as a woman, and I don't know, men, maybe you've had the same experience. Michael, you can chime in. Wayne, you can chime in. But as a woman, there's so many times when, you go out to do something and people go, "Why are you so dressed up? Why are you wearing that? It's like you get like this inquiry. I don't think that happens to men as much. I mean, I know sometimes like a man cleans up and is in a suit or something, and then they're like, people haven't seen them that way. But like that happens to a woman on the regular. It's like, where are you going? What are you doing? Da, 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 da. It's like, what if I just wanted to dress up? What if I just felt good? What if this outfit makes me feel good? And I think, so much of that, it's like, we could probably talk about this for hours and just start to deprogram all of the tapes that we have running as human beings, not only women, but as humans, and I think, yeah, look, I think there's so many reasons to celebrate that we have denied.
I know. Look, I just pulled another card just because I just wanted to, because I was just like, and look what came up.
It's because you're the bad girl of metaphysics. Yeah. Sparkle and shine.
Yeah. Sparkle and shine. It was just, yeah.
And so to me, that literally is the answer to Wayne's question. How do we move forward? How do we move forward in faith? If I'm sparkling and shining and I'm fully in my it's okay to be me and who I am, then that gives the next person permission and the next person permission. And if I'm in that space and they're in that space, well, then we're truly living into our God essence, so to speak, right?
That's right. No, that's absolutely right. So a lot of the dance styles that I love, but particularly this dance style called Kizomba, the foundation of it, people think it's about the steps, you learn steps, but it's really, the dance comes alive based on your ginga. And ginga, people think is just like about hip movements, but really the word ginga, it means essence, right? So everyone's ginga is going to be a little bit different in the dance. And I remember when I started dancing, being literally told I had too much ginga. And then I remember trying to take that on. And I was like, because I'm told this by a teacher. So I'm like, oh, how do I tone down my ginga? Right. and then I go and I work with this other master teacher, and he's like, why are you dancing like you have a broom you know where? I was like, really? It was like, where's your ginga? I was like, really? I was like, okay, so I'm going to dance the way I just want to dance. And he was like, thank you, because there's your ginga, right? There it is. So now I'm hoping to put together a ginga project, actually, because that's it. When we sparkle and we shine, look, it's true. There are some people who have not had permission to sparkle and shine. And so when we sparkle and shine, they don't always feel like seeing our light gives them permission. They see our light in a different way. And so I think it's really important to find a way when we have those encounters to have compassion for ourselves and have compassion for the people, for instance, like that teacher who told me I had too much Jenga, right? And to not take it on so much, you know? So,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think that, yeah, absolutely. Because I think that, I think that, people squash our Jenga or our sparkle or our, whatever it is throughout all the years. And they don't necessarily mean to. They're doing what they know best, and they're trying to, make it work the way they know how to make it work. But, there's that being true and authentic to what's really calling to you. And, I mean, because heavens knows, I know for you and myself, that there's been times when we have harnessed our own Jenga and gone, yeah, I'm going to just pause on that, or whatever. And we've tried to do it another way. We've tried to, well, maybe, I won't do that. I'll do this. And everything in your spirit and your body goes, yeah, no, that's not going to make you happy. And it's until you go back to the truth and the alignment of what's being called forth in you, right?
So true. So very true. Oh my goodness, I feel like I could just go on, because I feel like this has been a big part of like my week. So I think I mentioned my kids are in school full time now, which means I have most of my afternoons free most days. Now I'm teaching dance at the school, but that's only until the end of the term in the afternoon. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to get a part-time job. And, here I am, this super skilled clinician with all this stuff. I got a call back from a job that I really wanted. It was part-time. I thought it was perfect. And the person said to me on the phone, I saw your resume and felt intimidated. I was like, what? I couldn't even believe that was like, and then the person also said, I looked at your resume and I thought, what have I been doing with my life? I'm like, are you inviting me to an interview? I'm like, what is going on? She's like, no, we think you're a bit, she's struggling to not say overqualified. And she was like, no, we really want someone who's actually worked in a respite, service. She's like, I just had to call you and tell you about your work. I was like, what is it? And then I was like, what do I do with that? Like, what do I do?
What can you do? I think, I go to the 4 agreements and don't take anything personally. And, I go, bless her, and you take it as a compliment. That's fantastic. How wonderful that you thought my resume was so impressive. And, I mean, clearly she may have needed a session to understand that she has her life is fine. She just needs to get clear on what she wants from her life. But you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I always listen to people like that, and I'm like, I just feel like they're just giving me the inside voice to their, I mean, they're letting me hear their inside voice, and I think for you and for me, it's like somehow we become that safe space where people want to just say things to us. Because sometimes I'm like, really? How are you saying that to me? But it's as if they're not really even talking to me. You know what I mean? It's like they're just talking it through because they, So, but I mean, I you know what I mean? People are funny. People are really funny. And by the same token, if we go to our, our teachings or our spiritual, metaphysical to kind of thoughts, it's like listening to it and seeing, okay, what part of that are you holding on to? What's there to be uncovered for you? This makes me feel uncomfortable. What is that about? Maybe as much as you love to get those degrees and you love to be a lifelong learner, maybe when someone else acknowledges you and goes, oh my God, it's so much, that feels something in your body, or maybe, you know what I mean? It could be all different things. I'm just making things up. But, what part of that, makes you feel something?
Yeah, I said with it yesterday. I remember I said when we were talking before the show, I was like, I had vodka last night. Because part of it, I was like, okay, what do I make of this experience? Because it's not like the first time it's just been the first time someone's just come straight out and said something like they didn't beat around the bush. So I was really grateful for that. But I think by the end of the evening, I was just realizing I feel like this is just, it is a beautiful continued confirmation that I am meant to work for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And also an affirmation of you've done a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And look, I'm doing okay at the end of the day. I'm like, I just have these hours in the day now, and I'm like, I just want to be a beneficial presence on the planet. And so I'm teaching dance to little kiddos, and that little boy whose name I can't say just lives in my heart. Oh my God. I've never worked with children. Like I don't even know. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. I have unconditional positive regard for my children. I love them unconditionally, but I don't always feel that about other people's children. I don't usually work with children. Mm-hmm. And so I really feel like this little boy changed my heart. I was like, oh, there's great. So anyways.
Kids are the greatest teachers. I mean, they're amazing. They're amazing. I miss working with kids a lot.
I wish, oh my God, I wish I could have just, this little boy, as it could just like a little video of just how keen he was. He was like this, like, and when I was saying dance with your fingers all the way down to your fingers, he was like, yeah, he was the best. I just love him. Shout out to that little boy.
Yeah. I think, going back to the topic of the cards you pulled, the sparkle and shine and all of that, that is such a quality that is so present in kids, and I think working with kids, for me, it's such an honor to be able to, help them dance down to their fingers, or create or play or sing or dance, whatever it is. And I think they are the picture, of sparkle and shine.
So true.
Because they're all in.
It's so true.
It's
really true. It's so true. It's really changed my because so much of my work has been so adult focused. Like I don't know. I feel like I never would have done anything like this if it weren't for my children, right? Like, because the school and we're trying to come up with these innovative ways to sort of support my daughters. And so I was like, well, I can come and do something. And then they asked me, they was like, don't you do, like dance and mindfulness? I was like, yeah. She's like, well, would you be willing to come and do it? I was like, yeah, I'll come and do it. And especially if it's going to help my daughters, but just to also see how much these other kids, you're right. They were all in.
Yeah.
It's like, it's changing my heart a little bit about, I'm like, maybe I do want to
and again,
a little bit.
Dwayne says, honor the creative. Yeah. And how, when we honor the creative, we're honoring the creator, right? So, but yeah, how do we return to how do we return to that, to that spirit, to that, that kidness,
That's my breakthrough. I just had my breakthrough.
Oh, I'm so glad. And so thank you everybody for joining us and supporting Dr. Natasha in her breakthrough. Okay, well, share it with us. What was your breakthrough?
My breakthrough was like, kids are cool. Like, they're cool, and they're cool to work with. And yes, they are so fresh on the planet, right? They're just these new earthlings, and they're all in. And I'm not sure, for whatever reason, why I was never really drawn to working with kids. But yeah, I don't know. Yesterday kind of I'm having another bit of a like aha moment, because the job that lady called me about yesterday was hospice. So working with people at the end of life. And she called right as I was getting ready to go do this work with these kids, right? Who at the beginning of life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having something clicking for me right now. I know I'm having a breakthrough. It's still forming, but something's happening there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. There. I mean, definitely, that's definitely something to look at,
Yeah. And it is. It's like, I want to do more work where I integrate dance, and I'm more likely to integrate dance with newer humans on the planet than humans that are going to be leaving soon, perhaps. So I don't know. It's just all sort of, I'm having a few aha moments, as Oprah would call them.
And it could probably go both ways. But I think what's special about the kids, and like what I know about you and what we've talked about on the show too, like I think we talked about it last week, is, we talked about playfulness somehow, and like working with kids is that invitation to return to the playfulness. And like, that's one of the things you were saying, is that, you wanted to do in this show, is have that playfulness. And yeah, I mean, kids are they're just that. They are just that. Mm-hmm. And you definitely need to seize the moment, because that is not the same essence that teenagers hold generally.
I can tell. My soon to be, she'll be 9 years old next month. She's already changing, so I already see it. Yeah. I was looking at video of her, when she was like, I guess maybe 4 or 5, and she had her little butterfly backpack on in the yard, and she was off to go look for fairies in the garden. And, the other day, I think I told her, she's like, I'm emo. And she only wants to wear Wednesday Addams colors. And, oh my God, she wants to dye her hair black, but, she's like blonde, like Margie, she looks like Barbie, but she's like, I'm looking at her change before my eyes. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, buckle up.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready.
And it doesn't have to be that way. So we're not gonna put that out there. But I mean, it's just different, and I get it. I mean, there's hormones and there's different things, and nine things start happening, and your body starts changing, and you start listening to the shoulds and the voices and the things. So it's, our job is to support her and all children to, be able to continue to be themselves amidst the seeming chaos.
Well, I'll tell you what, my daughter did come to the dance the little dance workshop that I did for the students yesterday. And she came and she said, "This is my girlfriend. She's a he. This is a new generation of being."
Yep. Don't get me started on that. When I used to pick up kids and work with the kids, teaching them drama, I mean, the conversations I would hear in the car, I mean, we had, the cutest, brother and sister. And she's just like she's like the perfect person. I can't wait to see her later in life, because, she's 9, she's writing books, and she's, talking to her little brother, and like, now Oliver, don't do that. It's really not nice, and blah, blah, blah. And they're having these conversations, but Oliver, who's like, was like 5 or 6 at the time, is like, yeah, I don't know. I identify as they, because they all do that now. They all identify.
Mm-hmm.
So I identify as they, because I'm not really sure. Some days I feel like a boy, some days I feel like a girl, and he'd come some days with nail polish on, and, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's just part of the deal now.
I kind of like it in so many ways. I'm just like, my daughter feels this freedom to just come up to me and be like, this is, well, actually they came up to me and told me that my daughter was their girlfriend. And then my daughter said, she's a he. But it's just, they have that comfort that,
yeah,
and it all somehow works, like my daughter's first crush is probably a trans kid. She white, her mama black. I mean, it's like everything. It all works.
It is. Well, that's like one day a couple years ago, all of a sudden, I realized that I wasn't special anymore. Because it used to be, I would say, people would go, well, what are you? And I'd be like, African American, Latina, and Native American. They'd be like, what? And now I'm like, I'm not, everybody is, and which is great and beautiful and wonderful and interesting. I mean, it's just an interesting journey. I think it's great.
It is. I'll say this one last thing. I feel like this is the very last bit of insight around our topic, around the sparkle and the shine and to celebrate growth and breakthroughs. I had wrote a little post last night that I put on social media because I was, again, looking at my daughters and looking at photos, when they were little and, getting so big now. And I wrote reflecting on, so we also live in a day and age where we can get our DNA. We can find out where we're from. And I did that. And so I wrote this little thing. I'm just going to read it. I said, my daughters make me think about all of my ancestry, how I have been fortunate enough to look at my DNA and see that I am from all parts of Africa, mostly Angola, the Americas, mostly the Choctaws, and Europe, all over Europe, from England to Scandinavia. I am a world being. I think about the strength of all my great-great-grandmothers and great-great-grandfathers. That strength flows through my vein. Give me the courage to remember all of who I am, an earthling, endowed with all the rights of being a full human. Thank you to all my ancestors. May I live up to your dreams of freedom and equity and love and justice. Ashe.
Ashe. Amen. And so,
yes, we are all world babies.
We are that. So our charge to you, everybody, is to go out this week into the world and sparkle and shine. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And celebrate your breakthroughs. Notice your breakthroughs. Even the little teeny ones, even if you didn't have a scoop of ice cream for dessert, or even if you got out of bed when you usually hit the alarm 2 times, whatever it is, little things are breakthroughs too. That's the only way we can get to the other side. So don't judge, celebrate is what I have to say.
Yes.
And I'm going to end with words of wisdom from our Calgarian Wayne, who says, love is the creative force of the universe. So take it out and multiply it, and join us right back here next week on Girls Behaving Metaphysically. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Peace and blessings.